Alright, welcome to episode 68 of Adventures in Inbetweening. Today I am looking at another episode of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles I animated on. This is Season 2, Episode 12 with the Rat King and his little pet mouse Aristotle.
We really needed a chaperone.
Anything I can do to help?
Yeah!
Don't look at me. I'm more of a rat person.
Why do I have to wear the cheese? We have to lead them away, and you're awesome at being bait. Faster, faster!
Okay, fun stuff here. So, and I actually didn't animate that many Rat King scenes. So I was focusing on other characters, but let's look here at the map. You can see that we had those cars parked there, and those cars, the place where those cars are parked tells us where on the map we were. So this was our city streets map for Turtles. And you can see the car location here. We got 3 cars on the right, 4 cars on the left. That shows us where we were on the map. And this map was really important to know which blocks we needed to add in to have for lighting and rendering. And you can see this car, this taxi on the left side there. It's actually driving on the wrong side of the road. But if I have it on the correct side of the road, it wouldn't be visible. So it's one of those things we just like, yeah, let's hope nobody notices that. And yeah, then we can have cars going both ways. It's much more interesting. Cars pulling out, the lights turn on and rendering, love that. Here we've got April and Irma walking along, and the camera's tracking with them, so they're staying pretty much static in screen, just moving up and down only. And then Casey's gonna gain and come in here. Casey Jones. Anyway, so he's coming in and he's interacting with April and Irma. All their walks are all offset, so they're all moving at different times. Here in this shot, we've got the camera pretty much on the ground. So you can see the upshot on the buildings there for the perspective looking up. Rat comes through the screen. So this is another reason we needed the camera on the ground, because the rat was going to be covering up the camera, so we need to be that close to the ground. This shot here, this is interesting because this is actually from the Rat King's point of view, and specifically Aristotle. So Aristotle was the mouse on Rat King's shoulder, and so that's why it was pink in the storyboards there. And so whenever we had Aristotle, we wanted to show that it was a different point of view. So that's why we have the different effect on there, and this isn't paid off until later. It's just kind of thrown in at the beginning as, oh, this looks weird, what's going on there? April jumps on the bike. Everything's a little bit wavy, a little bit distorted and wobbly. And you can see here, this is the way that it looked when we rendered, when we did the animation. We didn't know how it was going to look in the final. We're just animating like normal, and then the effect gets put on later. Cheese! Always focus on the cheese, and then zip, dolly back to reveal that it's a cheese hat that Mikey's got. Mikey is trying to draw the Rat King out of hiding. This cheese hat was interesting because you could wobble it and drag it behind the character, but whenever he talked, you had to stretch out that strap there to make sure that it wasn't crashing through the body, through the chin. See, the rain is coming down on diagonals there. Background flying past, similar to April and Irma there. Mikey's pretty much staying in the same spot on screen, doing some wavering back and forth, but it's the background that's creating the motion. Same with this here. Got the background flying past. Raph and April are going to gain into the scene, then they're going to hit where the camera is, and then they're just going to be wobbling with the vehicle. Again, pretty much in place while the background's going past. It's a trick you can do in animation and live action that just makes it so that we can focus on the subtleties of the character acting, but we still have a lot of motion, a lot of shape change going on in the background. And then we cut to something like this. It's more of a static camera, and we have the camera waiting for the characters to arrive. And the way that it was boarded, we wanted to be lower down so that the characters, the turtles, could pass just about right, just barely under camera. But the rats were so big that unless we wanted to do a camera move partway through, you see Mikey dragging around there. The rats are coming towards us. Here comes Mikey through the scene. And again, if we could have Mikey, if that cheese could have been much bigger, but the rats were so big that I had to put the camera in a place that was going to accommodate the rats and the turtles without... I don't want to get too far from the turtles. I don't want to crash through the rat. And you can see the vehicle jittering and rolling here. Now we've got this from a different angle. And this is, again, the boards on this show were so solid. You can see Mikey with the cheese here holding onto his head, and this is how the final animation ended up. All the information was there. We just needed to not lose all those solutions once we got into 3D space. Swerving around, changing shape. Again, that was in the boards. Reversing line of action. When we're going one way, we'll drag like this. We'll go the other way, we'll drag opposite. We had these terrifying rats with their massive beak mouths. Gives you lots of shape change there. Now you can see we're adjusting over to Donnie here, and I'll show you. See, this is how the storyboard actually looked when you put the two panels together. We're starting over here with Mikey, and we're going over to Donnie. That's what we're seeing at the bottom left as well. And that's how it's drawn. It's drawn all as one image like that. And you can see that Mikey has less blur here because he's further away. He's not moving as quickly as Donnie in the foreground. Now, I've mentioned this before. Even though Donnie is moving quickly here, he's not blurred because he's staying at the same space on screen. It's spacing, movement on screen that determines the blur, not speed. He could be going 1,000 miles an hour right now. Look at this storyboard pose. I really love that pose. Tried to accommodate that while still having Donnie driving. And this is my one ice cream kitty scene after April's poor cat gets mutated with ice cream, and Mikey saves him by putting him in the freezer, or her. And I think it was determined ice cream kitty was a girl. Let's look at the different stages. All right, you saw the storyboard layout, primary, secondary, and final there. You saw in the layout, if you go back to that, Ice Cream Kitty was just these gray polygons. The model wasn't really done yet, so we just had to have something in there for a placeholder. You can see as Ice Cream Kitty's coming down here, the squash is starting, stretching out on the bottom of the ground there. Strong silhouette, dragging the arms, dragging the tail behind. Lots of overlap with the head there, still squashing out on the bottom. Now Ice Cream Kitty settling, the body starting to restore its original shape there. Overlapping the arms, the tail's going in a wave cycle. Ice Cream Kitty is, if any of you have ever had a cat or ever seen a cat, when they're feeling kind of not very happy, they kind of lean their head away and they go, and that was the idea here, and that was the intention from the boards. Ice Cream Kitty just being a cat, waving the head around, whipping the tail around, arms going like this, 3 different cycles that are all overlapping and creating some funny, interesting shapes with that cool design. Everybody wanted the Ice Cream Kitty shots. Splinter here is going down, following Rat King down this hole, so he can't, survive this fall, so he's going to use his claws and drag on the wall, hands and feet. We've got all these sparks following behind there, coming right into screen, just like the storyboards. Shape change on the face there, opening the mouth. Open space here on screen left, stage for Splinter. Look at the storyboard. I like that little doot. Looks like Rat King's just this cute little creature, even though it's terrifying. Line of action, wave motion on the tail there. Here comes Splinter in, foot down, lands. Camera is pretty much on the ground. You can see that the foot is just barely below us there. And we can see the depth of field here. This is cool. We got Splinter all blurred out, and Rat King is clear in the background. And then we're going to reverse that as we're panning over here. Now Splinter is clear. So we first had that, whoa, this is really close to the camera, and then we can focus on it. Splinter's head moving up. Camera has moved into place. Splinter's going to fill the composition that the camera's arrived at. Ears are going to follow through there. Eyes are going to squint for a bit of extra shape change as Splinter gets ready. Starts to move forward. The camera's static now, so we can see every little bit of Splinter's motion. And through the screen. Trailing the tail in the wave motion there, and then line of action, following that through as he leaves the screen. This is such a fun show to animate on in general, and this was a great episode. Ice Cream Kitty was just such a big hit with everybody, and Mikey's always funny when he does his comedic acting. Yeah, just a ton of fun, great times, and great people to work with. Thanks for checking it out. And I'll see you next time. More TMNT to come in the future.